Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to introduce you guys to my new series. My new Halloween series is going to be called Mrs. Halloween. Today, I am Mrs. Beetlejuice.
Shall we?
I love Beetlejuice so much. One of my favorite movies from my childhood. So I was really excited to be able to do this and to be creative and put my own spin on what I thought that Mrs. Beetlejuice would look like. And so I just wanted to create something really fun and something that I hope is really different. I'm just so excited about the series, and I'm so excited about this look. I hope you guys love it too. And if you do, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please don't forget to leave me a comment and tell me what other misses you would like for me to do in this series. I already have my next one planned, so leave me some comments so that I know what to do after the next one. Someone that you guys want to see recreated, because I can literally cannot tell you how excited I am about this, especially because I'm sure that I'll probably get checked in my comments down below, but I really do think this is an original, like, series idea. I'm sure there's probably been, like, people who have done, like, a female version of Beetlejuice or something, but just the actual series idea is different. I haven't seen anybody do it, and that just makes me so excited, because I love to be original and I love to be able to create, and to be able to create with makeup is just like the most wonderful thing in the world. And how do you like my little pet sandworm? Okay, I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this tutorial. The first thing I'm going to use is the Tacha Silk Canvas Filter Finish Protective Primer. I'm going to lay down a thin layer of this prosaic. Next, I'm going to go in with this Mayron Modeling Putty Wax. I'm going to smooth it out with my fingers just a little bit. Try to make it a little bit thinner so it's easier once I get it on. And then I'm just going to stick it to the spot where I want it. And I'm just going to start pressing this and making it really thin into, oh god, not my baby hairs, my skin, just to make it look a little more realistic. And then I'm gonna stick another little spot right here, and I'm just gonna do the same thing. So next, I'm just gonna dig around in this and make like places for the worms to come out. I'm also gonna like bring up some of the edges here so that it looks like it's kind of black. And then I'm gonna do the same thing down here. Next, I'm gonna take a little bit of this Mayron liquid latex and I'm gonna feather it around the edges of this, and I feel like this will help it give like a more natural look. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Next, I'm going to go into this Mayron Paradise palette. I'm going to take this green shade here and this brown shade here. I'm going to mix a little bit of those together. So I'm just going to take this Morphe mixing palette and I'm just going to put some of the color on there. I'm actually going to dilute it a little bit with water because I don't want this to be like super pigmented. So I'm just going to start putting this down in there. Actually, I'm going to add like a little bit of red to that as well. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of this deeper red shade. Now that is really super red, and I will put some of that by itself on in a little bit, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of that brown in with it. And I'm going to go in and just place a few little dots of that right in there. That's all I'm going to do with that for right now, but we're going to go back and work on it a little bit more later. The foundation I'm going to use is the number 2 shade in the Georgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, because this is the lightest shade that I have. And right now I'm only going to use like a little bit of it, because I actually just want to lay a little bit of foundation down right in here before I go in with and do my brows. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of brush up what little natural brows I have, and then I'm very lightly going to draw on my shape, and I'm just going to use the shape I normally would for my brows. Now that I have the shape of the brows how I want them, or at least close, I'm going to start going in and creating my brows. I want to do like kind of black and white striped, like feathered, like look like real brows type of brows. And if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, then you know that I have a very, like, I hate this NYX white liquid liner because it breaks up, and I really do hate that. But that is going to work in our favor for this look, because even though I do want her to look glam and kind of put together, I also kind of want her to look a little bit messy. But I'm not going to go in with the one that it comes with. I'm just going to put a little bit on this mixing palette, and I'm going to take a Sigma E65 to apply the brush strokes. I'm just going to put the hair strokes like, you know, like normal hair would go, and you kind of want them to be a little bit thinner than what I'm currently getting them to be. So if you get them too thick, just take a spoolie and kind of brush through them a little bit. I mean, I kind of want these to even be a little bit bigger, a little bit bushier than what my brows would be. Actually, I'm not going to worry about the stripes being like too wide, because I feel like the black's going to cover up a lot of it anyways. For the black stripes, I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D tattoo liner, but I am going to use my Sigma brush, so I'm going to at least attempt it, because I feel like I just have much more control over this brush than I do this. I'm going to start out here, and anywhere especially like in between the white stripes, you definitely want to put some black on there. Then I am going to run my spoolie through there a little bit. Oh my god, I'm looking like I got big caterpillars on my eyes. I'm going to go in with the NYX Vivid Brights in this green shade. Let me see if it has a name. Vivid Envy. I'm going to take a spoolie brush and just coat some of this on the spoolie brush. I'm not going to press this against my skin. I'm going to try to only touch the hairs like my real hairs, and I'm going to brush them back this way just so that I can get up under them. It's going to give just like a little bit of a detail, like just a little bit of something extra, and I'm always about the extra. Now I'm going to brush those hairs the way that they would naturally go. Now to clean that up a little bit under there, I'm going to go in with the Louise base. So now I'm just going to carve out the bottom of my brows how I want them to look. And you can just see this like erasing anything that I don't want there. And you know, every few strokes or something, I wipe my brush off on a makeup wipe just so that it doesn't get the green and the black and stuff on it, and then drag it down onto my eye. And then I'm just going to take that Louise base and I'm going to go ahead and coat my eyelid in it. One of the first palettes I'm going to use to create this look is this Morphe 35M palette. Oh my gosh, I saw this and I was like, oh, I have to have it. It's the Boss Mood palette, and I love these greens right in here. And for my first shade, I'm going to go in with this green shade right here. And so Beetlejuice has like very purple eyes. I mean, it's just like a hot mess of purple like all around his eyes, and it's like kind of circular. So I'm going to go in with the same technique that I usually go in with. like the kind of rounded but, you know, blended and blown out a little bit look. And I am going to go in with purple, but I wanted the outer parts of it to be a little bit green, just because this is like my own recreation and this is my channel and I can make up my own rules. And so I'm just going to focus that like right in the center. Now this is going to end up being like a really smoky eye, so I am bringing this all the way to the inner corner, and I just kind of wanted this like dingy, murky green to go in there because, you know, it's just indicative of like dead grass and dying grass. And so I'm going to go in small circular motions all the way around. Okay, now I'm actually just going to mix these two shades right here. I'm going to use those two shades to buff out this darker shade. I'm just going to go in with a clean fluffy brush with nothing on it, and I'm just going to kind of drag this around and blend it out a little. The next thing I'm going to go in with is this KKWX Argentis colored cream stick, and this is in the shade Dramatico. I really am going to just put this all over my bottom lid because I want something really dark underneath this purple, because I want this purple to be really dark and dramatic. So I'm going to try to get it in my lash line as much as I can too. It doesn't have like a very pointed end, so I'm going to need to go in with a brush. I'll probably just use that eyeliner brush I was using earlier, and I'll just get some of that product on there and just go ahead and carve out my crease with it. Now that I have that laid down, I'm going to go in with this dark purple shade. I'm just going to go in with a flat brush and I'm going to press that on there. And I am going to take this all the way up to where we cut the crease. And before I forget, I'm going to go in with the Argentis black liner and line my top waterline. Now to blend this out and make it a little bit softer near that crease, I'm going to go in with this purple shade, and this is also going to show that that is indeed a purple shade down there. Next, I'm going to take Fairy Treasure out of the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Bling Boss palette. I want just a little more purple down here, but I still want it to be dark, and then I also want it to have some reflex in it, so that's why I'm using this shade, just to make it a little bit more glam. And I'm only going to put it like on the inner corner and the outer corner because I want to put something a little lighter on the rest of it. That is beautiful because it just has like a little bit of like sparkly reflex. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in person it's really stunning. Next, I'm going to go in with this little bit lighter of a purple shade that's got some sparkly reflex in it. I did spruce my brush with some Fix Plus. I'm just going to focus that on the center of the eyelid where I didn't put that last shade, Buried Treasure. To lighten it up just a little bit, I'm going to take this purple shade right here. I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger, and I'm just going to tap it in the center of my eye just to bring a little bit more light to the middle. And then that way that purple really, you know, comes through. I'm going to take a little more of that Louise base and I'm going to put it under my lower lash line. I'm just going to go ahead and conceal my under eyes completely with this because it is so light. The first thing I'm going to do is go in with this purple shade right here again. And I'm just going to place that underneath my waterline and blend that out. I'm going to go back into this transformer shade with a flat definer brush, and I'm going to put that right underneath my lash line. And then I'm going to go back in with that lighter purple shade and I'm going to blend that out. Now I am going to drag this shade down a little bit more because I want this to be very blown out, especially on the bottom, because that's, you know, like how I picture Mrs. Beetlejuice to look. So if I get more product on my brush, I'm going to place it closer to my lash line, and then I'm going to blend it down so it's not like a harsh line down here. Then I'm going to go back in with this green shade right here, and I'm going to blend that into the bottom of the purple a little bit more. And I'm not going to go in with very much product at all. I want it to have like more of that like dead glam look, if there's such a thing. And I am going to let it get right in here, like, you know, where the hollows of your eyes are, because I know it's going to make it look a little baggy, but that's kind of what we want to look like, because, you know, she is part of the undead. The dead undead, whatever. And then last, I'm going to go in with this yellowish green shade. And I'm going to do the same thing with that. I'm just going to outline this and blend it on down. Now I'm going to throw on some mascara and some lashes, and I'll be right back. For my inner waterline, I'm going to go in with the shade I'm Royalty by Jeffree. It's a liquid lipstick. You guys have seen me use this before plenty of times. Okay, before I do foundation, I'm going to go in with this Tacha Indigo cream. It's got like a little bit of a blue tint to it, so it's going to help kind of color correct this red on my cheeks a little bit. Then I'm going to go back in with the foundation that I used a little bit of earlier. I did forget to mention that when I put my lashes on, I went ahead and like lined my top waterline, or I'm sorry, my top lash line with a little bit of this Weirdo shade by Jeffree Cosmetics. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of this too on that same brush that I applied my eyebrows with earlier, because I feel like, you know, that black has faded so much, and I just want to bring a little of it back in. I'm very, lightly going to brush a few strokes of this in here. I feel like that looks a little bit better. So for contour, I'm going to go in with this shade called Lazarus. And this is in the Kat Von D shade and Light Eye Palette. I feel like this is just going to give like a dirty, kind of like grayish contour. And I'm using a small brush just so that I can be careful not to go over some parts that I have already done, like this. I don't want to mess any of that up. Then I'm going to take a little bit of RCMA translucent powder just to set everything, but I'm also going to like veil this out a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of this on the actual like bad places, scars, torn skin, whatever you want to call it, just so that it looks like not shiny. I'm not going to go in with blush because, you know, I'm supposed to be dead. But I am going to go in with highlighter because I feel like even a dead queen wants to be highlighted. The highlighter I'm going to use is this purple one in the Aurora Glow Kit. Actually, I want to go in with this Jeffree Liquid Frost in the shade Ice Queen first, because I feel like it has a little bit of purple reflex in it. And then I'm going to take the purple from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Aurora Glow Palette, and I'm just going to go right over top of that. That is a purple highlighting dream combination. Next, I'm going to go back in with this red shade in the Mayron Paradise palette. I'm going to put some of that on my mixing palette again because I really do want to dilute this. When it's diluted, it looks almost like a little bit of like a pink tint to it, so I'm going to mix just a little bit of the brown just to make it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to take this and kind of feather it around the edges to kind of hide like how it's, you know, not as blended into my skin. And then also just to make it look a little more red and a little more irritated. And then of course I'll do the same thing down here. And then just kind of scratching it so that it even kind of looks like, you know, scratches a little bit. And then I almost forgot to put an inner corner highlight, so I'm going to go ahead and put in that purple shade there as well. And then for brow bone highlight, I'm going to go in with this green shade right here. Next, I'm going to attach these little sandworms that I made to these places up here and right here. And I did not take my camera downstairs to film this because I was too lazy to carry that and all the lights and everything. But I did like do some little like mini videos of the process a little bit on my iPhone while I was down there, so I'll try to insert those here. Okay, so what I'm starting out with is some Mehron Modeling Putty and Wax. I have my Morphe spatula, and I have some acrylic paints in white, red, black, and green. So I'm just going to take like chunks of the wax. I'm sorry, I know this is out of focus. I'm going to roll it between my fingers just to get the consistency I want of the worms. And then what I will do is form it on a brush like how I want it to look, kind of swivel around. And then I'm just going to paint it black and white striped, give it 2 red eyes, and then near the top give it like a couple of green stripes. Before I start painting them, I'm going to kind of carve out their mouths a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to show you this because I'm home by myself and I'm trying to do this alone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this little spatula thing and I'm just going to carve it out a mouth, and I'm going to push the bottom part of the mouth down because I want it to look like their mouths are open. Okay, so I couldn't do a good job of holding the camera and doing this at the same time, so this is what it looked like. I just poked little gaps in their mouths and then stretched them open so that it kind of looks like they're about to eat something. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint them white. Okay, so I just started painting black stripes on them, and this is kind of what they're looking like. So as you can see, I went ahead and did the green stripes. I did 2 on this one, but that's the only one because it was a little bit bigger. I did 2 red eyes, and then I painted the inside of the mouth red. I did only 1 stripe on the rest of them. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this Prosade on just a little brush here, and I'm just going to try to like put it in places where I think I might put those worms. So like I think I'm going to stick this one here. It's kind of like an invasion of sandworms. Okay, and then the bigger one that I kind of made, I kind of want it to be coming down. Like I want it to be like it's coming loose, like it's coming to get somebody. Now I'm going to go back into the leftover reddish brown color that I made a few minutes ago. And I'm just going to put that like especially around the edges of the worms where it looks like, you know, they possibly could come out of my skin. So I've just concealed my lips because I'm going to overline them a little bit. I'm going to go in with a black eyeliner pencil. And I'm going to shade it in a little on the sides. I'm going to do a little line down the center of my lip to make it look a little bigger. Next, I'm going to go back in with that Weirdo shade by Jeffree Cosmetics. And I'm just going to go over that a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in the shade with the shade I'm Royalty. And I'm going to dab that on the center. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my finger. And I'm going to focus most of it in the center. And then I'm going to blend some of it out this way. And then I'm going to go in with the fluffy brush and back with this purple shade. Just to re-highlight the top. And I'm actually going to drag it down because I think it looks really cool. And I'm going to do a little bit in the center. I'm going to take a little bit of this Kylie gloss, this super glitter gloss in the shade Chill Pill. And I'm going to pray to God that I don't ruin my look here. I'm going to put a little bit on my finger because if this doesn't look right, like I'm aborting. I didn't want to put on too much, but I feel like that's just enough. And I am seriously like in love with this. Now I still have a few finishing touches I'm going to do, but I'm going to go ahead and spray my face with some setting spray so that this doesn't go anywhere while I work with everything else. Now, I do have a few more finishing touches. I got some of this grass right here from Hobby Lobby. If I can find something similar, I'll link it down below from Amazon. So I'm going to take just a few little pieces of that like dead grass looking stuff, and I'm going to try and strategically place a few pieces around. And I'm going to try to use eyelash glue to do this, but you know, I don't know if this is going to work or not. So I'm going to try one piece, see if that works, and then go from there. I think it is going to work, so I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to put like a few tiny little pieces around in there. And I know this is going to be really hard to get out of my hair later, but I'm going to just put a few pieces of this in my hair, and I'm just going to kind of stick it in with a bobby pin. Actually, it just kind of sticks there. You can fix it with a bobby pin if you want, but it's just kind of sticking there for me, so I'm just going to kind of leave it. Just going to stick a few pieces of my hair here and there. Now, one last thing I'm going to do, because I want this to not be so perfect, I want her to be like a little bit of a mess. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of this lipstick right here and dab it on. And then I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm just going to drag it out. There we go, it's on camera. I did that on purpose, so when people see this on Instagram and accuse me of not being able to like line my lips, this is why. Okay, so that concludes my tutorial. My first tutorial in my Mrs. Halloween series, Mrs. Beetlejuice. And say hello to my little friend that you saw in the intro. I got this from Hobby Lobby. It was just like a wooden snake that kind of bends, and I just painted it the same way that I painted like the little worms on my face so that they would match, and I couldn't really find a good way to incorporate it, which I'm sure you probably could, but especially if you have an outfit, but I didn't have one, so I just am gonna like use it in my intros, like, you know, my little pet. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and please, please, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.